Vision, electro. Weapon, catalyst. Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry. With these 3 words, I'm sure you're already thinking of Yae Miko, who is an upcoming 5-star Electro Catalyst user. But let's not forget the OG Electro Mommy, who made our climbing expeditions 69% more enjoyable when we first started exploring Teyvat. Okay, horniness aside, Lisa is probably one of the most underappreciated characters in Genshin. It might be because of the fact that she's part of the starting roster of free characters, or simply because she's Electro, which many consider to be the weakest element in the game. So with Yae Miko's banner coming soon, I wanted to test my artifacts on Lisa and get an idea of how an Electro Catalyst user works as a DPS character. Assuming Yae Miko is gonna be a DPS character, of course. To start off, I'll try to explain how Lisa's abilities work. Her E skill applies these stacks by tapping, and it can reach a maximum of 3 stacks. By applying more stacks, the damage of holding the E skill is increased, but there are other ways to apply stacks. One way is by unlocking one of her passive talents, which allows her charge attacks to apply 1 stack. Another way is by doing a superconduct or an overload reaction. This gives an extra stack. Tapping the E skill when enemies are clumped together also spreads the stack. Now, one thing about Lisa you probably don't know is that she is one of the few characters in the game who can provide a defense shred. The only other characters that can shred defense are Razor with his C4, Ayaka with her C4, Klee with her C2, and Raiden Shogun with her C2. And among these, Lisa's Def Shred is the only one we get without a constellation. It comes from her 4th Ascension passive, which is essentially free. Keep in mind though that Def Shred is different from Resistance Shredding, so stacking these 2 up won't lead to diminishing returns. The team comp I ran with consisted of Lisa, Sucrose for the Swirl Shred, Diona for the shields, and Bennet for the attack buff. A shielder like Diona is really important for Lisa, since her hold E takes quite a while to charge up, so preventing interruption from enemies is very helpful. In terms of highest DPS, I was able to achieve it using this rotation. First, I try to stack up 3 charges of Lisa's conductive status, then I use her burst for the Def Shred, then Bennet ult for the attack buff, and since Lisa's ult constantly applies electro status, Sucrose Swirl Shred should be no problem. Then I switch back to Lisa, who now has the Thrilling Tales buff from Sucrose, and do a hold E with 3 stacks for maximum damage. For Lisa's build, I used my old catching artifacts, which are 2-piece Glad, 2-piece Thundering Fury. Weapon was the Skyward Atlas just for the raw stats, and because I already had it leveled up, but something like a Widsith or a Dodogo Tails would work nicely as well. Now if you noticed, I kept my Lisa and her weapon at level 69. Well, that's because 69 is her birthday. And also because I'm running low on mats, and it's the funny number or whatever. Okay, before the showcase, if I've convinced you to give Lisa a shot or at least appreciate her even more, then a like and sub would be very cool. And if you're gonna pull for Yae Miko, tell me in the comments how you're gonna be building her. Thanks. That said, I guess it's time for the showcase. Overall, I think Lisa is a fun character, and her playstyle is definitely unique. But one thing I don't like about her kit is that it takes too long to charge up stacks and deal high amounts of damage. Now, this definitely doesn't matter outside of the Abyss, so if you wanted to build her as a damage dealer, then it's totally fine, I think. But with her kit being slow, I'd say using her as a burst support for her defense shred is more optimal. Going back to Yae Miko though, I think Yae Miko is gonna be in a tough spot DPS wise just because of her being electro. But even if Yae Miko turns out to be another electro sub DPS character, I'm still interested in building her. That is, if I win the 50-50 of course.